Hello, everyone. This is John Wynn
And Billete.
with the Doomer Bloomer podcast, episode 10. And
Welcome to 2019.
welcome to 2020.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. We're going to be writing 19 for the next month, though.
Yes. So we have as per usual, we have an interesting program with a myriad of different topics this evening. So without further ado, what are we talking about tonight, Bill?
On the docket, we have polymaths versus specialization, which is better for our current economic and social climate.
Mm-hmm.
We have informational biases on the CBC and also the CNN and how they tend to be more left-leaning.
Yes. How dare they?
The CBC Pussies.
Les pousser.
We're going to touch on self-actualization and Maslow's hierarchy of needs and how to become a self-actualized person.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something pretty interesting in the news with John Boyega, the star from the new Star Wars franchise, and how he's fighting back against Twitter.
Twitter a lot of people think Trump and Iran is going to be the start of World War III, but I think it's going to be John Boyega and the Star Wars Twitter fans.
I think so.
That's going to be the precipitation of the fall of humanity right there.
And of course, it's 2020, so we're going to give our rundown of our resolutions for the year.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So pop one of those subjects off, Mr. Bill.
Let's just keep talking about John Boyega, because I just thought it was funny. If you just Google Star Wars Instagram, John Boyega, and he had a pretty innocent Instagram post that just kind of blew up, and he was just like, "Yeah, now that spoilers, that Kylo's gone. Now Finn is going to get a chance to get with Rey."
Yeah,
and it just blew up.
Yeah, and Les Poussés just started losing their minds because of that.
Well, it's just like it's not the one who she kisses, but the one who eventually lays the pipe.
Is that what he said? Is that what he said on Twitter?
My boy Finn, after realizing Kylo died so he can date Rey. In response, it's not about who she kisses, but who eventually lays the pipe. You are a genius.
Oh, so some random Twitter person said that.
That's right.
Oh, okay. He didn't even say that. So what he said was really like PG as a tweet.
Very. Like his original post was just stepping into 2020 like this, and it's just a picture of him.
It's like the friend zone dude. Oh, finally, this dude that was an obstacle is gone. I have a chance now.
Yeah, that's right. Pretty much.
Holy shit. So he's creating like a hashtag MeToo 2.0 situation in fiction.
Yeah. That's my take on it. And it just kind of escalates from there. So
that's hilarious.
Twitter users are calling him extremely disgusting and gross, disrespectful, sexist, and misogynistic. God. And then a few of them come to his defense, calling him an absolute legend, which is true. And then his response was, "I will say it 500,000 times. 2 consenting adults can lay down whatever the hell they want. You sensitive!" !
Yeah. Wow. No, you did good bringing this up. I actually saw like a couple articles in the last week about this in my feed. I'm like, well, I haven't even seen the Star Wars movie. I saw The Mandalorian though last week. Thank you for the suggestion. That was really good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I haven't even seen the last trilogy of Star Wars, and it confirms it. Like these woke ass les poussés. For you people out there, les poussés is just French for the pussies. So there's no confusion.
Twitter crybabies.
Yo, that's beyond being a crybaby, man. He's saying,
Wow.
"Oh, Ray or whatever his name is,
Finn.
Finn has a chance now to get with Ray."
Yeah.
Yay, yes, sir.
And he's just like, yeah, like you do realize these are all fictional characters in a made up Star Wars universe, right?
Yeah,
Like can you not separate reality from fucking fiction?
man, these bitches are getting me pissed off, man.
Yeah, you obviously don't know the difference between fictional world and reality.
Man, yo, I am discouraged.
I'm
I
feel
am
sorry.
I am disappointed in the human race for having dumbass people like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's not saying anything mean. He's like, maybe my character has a chance with this other fictional character. How can you get fucking upset about that? What the fuck's wrong with your life?
They have nothing else going on, John. Nothing.
But even if you had nothing going on, there's like a myriad of millions of things going on in the world worse than that comment right there. How could you make this an important issue?
It's not.
Like it's completely beyond me. I think the coffee's kicking in right now.
I've definitely heard the vocal change in your voice.
God damn, yeah, I'm seeing the sound spikes on my track right now. Holy man, they're gonna give me these Twitter bitches are gonna give me a heart attack, man.
Do you know what you need, Stat?
What?
You need a baby Yoda meme to calm you down.
Exactly. Yeah, man. I saw that.
Calm down.
I saw the
Baby
Mandalorian.
Yoda.
I saw the Mandalorian, and I was like, "Yo, I love this. I love this Baby Yoda."
The world loves Baby Yoda.
I know.
Baby Yoda for president, 2020.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go that far, but it's
for 2020 election, you will vote.
Yeah,
Baby Yoda for prez.
But yeah, our mammal instincts. Like you see lions. Like I saw. No, it was a leopard. I saw this on a nature show. Fucking leopard kills some baboon, female baboon, and then there's this baby crying. The female baboon's baby crying, and it's like a little cute Yoda-ish version of a baboon, and the leopard starts taking care of it. It's like we're so programmed to see anything that's like cute. Definition of cute is basically babyish features, and want to take care of it. It's like ingrained in the whole animal kingdom. It's crazy.
The nurturing response.
Yeah. Like I saw Bill Burr take that Baby Yoda. I'm like, oh no, you didn't, Bill Burr. Do not fuck with Baby Yoda. I was getting like emotional responses, and no coffee, without coffee too, man. Mandalorian, man, it plays with the emotional strings. Crazy. Anyways, those overreactions are valid, contrary to the Twitter.
That's right.
The Twitter sphere of
the Twitter sphere.
The Twitter sphere of bitches.
Oh my god.
Bitch ass people.
And then it follows up with Star Wars romance, and it's just like pictures of they call it Reylo. It's like the shipping version, like Rey and Kylo Ren, like
Benifer
or Benifer.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's Kylo Ren interrogating. There's a picture of her putting a lightsaber through his chest.
Yeah.
Them fighting on a bridge. It's just hilarious, man.
Yeah. Man, we got a lot of spare time. Our generation.
Not if we get nuked.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think
maybe we'll have more spare time. We'll go back to just stick pointy objects and rocks.
Just
kill each other with.
Yeah, just kill whoever you don't know that's out of your tribe.
Yeah.
Imagine like these pussies just not like in a world like that, in a post-apocalyptic world.
Oh, they wouldn't survive. like there would be no Twitter. Like their Twitter would be like a tin can and a string.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. They
Imagine they
wouldn't
go
know.
out in this post apocalyptic world and they're like, "Excuse me, that's misogynistic."
Excuse me, excuse me. You can't breastfeed your child here.
Yeah.
What the fuck you doing? Put that flap over it. It's like, what?
Yeah. Oh man, crazy.
uh, Internet trolls, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it goes. If he goes on to say, Star Wars is a movie, not a documentary.
Yeah. But even if this was real life, like maybe you can say, "Oh, what a pathetic friend zone dude that's trying to get some." Like, why would you lose your fucking mind over a dude being happy that he might have a chance? And in this case, this is an actor being happy for the character he plays that he might have a chance with the the top
the hero,
dog, top
the
girl in this
the, hero,
fictional world.
the heroine, exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's like Daisy knows she's not the character, so to be honest, she doesn't give a fuck.
exactly. Wow,
Uh,
wow. Well, I'm sure these Twitter warriors don't have the time to. I think they're only specialized people specializing in being bitches, little bitches on the internet. Uh, they can't be too much of polymaths, at least in the way we describe it. So, why don't you give a description of what a polymath is compared to
a
specialized
specialist.
person? Yeah.
Uh, from my literature, it's someone who becomes competent in at least 3 diverse domains or areas
Mm-hmm.
and integrates them into a top 1% skill set.
Mm-hmm.
So, whether that be music or technology, social media, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Um, and this is something I very highly identify with. I didn't really have a name for it before, but some of the great polymaths throughout history have been Leonardo da Vinci,
Oh yeah.
Albert Einstein was deeply into physics, but also played the violin. Leonardo da Vinci was a painter, artist, sculptor, engineer.
Yeah.
These are the type
He
of
wasn't
people.
only he wasn't. I mean, he pioneered a whole bunch of fields.
Right. He was what I would call the original Renaissance man,
Yeah.
right? Or what
Yeah.
everyone called. He was the rebirth and reintroduction of this idea
Yeah.
into our popular culture.
I mean, a lot of his theories or discoveries at the time have been like confirmed only like 300-400 years later.
His main strength would have been the artistry and his attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
Because his drawings of the anatomy of the human
Yeah.
body was exquisite for the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was basically replicating whatever the body was from inside and out to the most minute detail.
Absolutely.
And I mean, he was coming up like his was a focus on logic and creativity in everything he did, and he seeked to understand almost every aspect of the environment he was in, and he just let his imagination take over from there, and try to explain what things like. There's a lot of stuff that he had a lot of theories that he through continuous observation that he disproved himself, right? Like he had like a lot of ideas of how the world worked, but instead, like a lot of people get married with their ideas, so they
Wow.
have like a certain theory about something, and then they just continue with that basis no matter what other evidence comes into play. They just like a religious zealot
They
can't.
become rigid in their thinking. Yes.
Exactly, and he was completely the opposite of that. And as you know, like for me, even for me, when I think I'm doing something right and it's been ingrained in me for a while, it's hard for me, even with evidence of the contrary, to give it up. But I think I'm a lot more advanced when it comes to that than a good portion of people. I find people are, in general, can be very dogmatic with their ideas. And that's where I'd say I'm kind of a polymath. Even if I'm not maybe in the top 1% of anything, I'm definitely top 10% in certain areas. Um,
What would you say your top three?
well, I know when it comes to chess, what's cool. I play chess on chess.com. My ultimate rating, percentile position out of millions of people. And chess.com is the biggest chess site in the world. And even like the world champions and the grandmasters play on that. I was in the top 3.6%, if I recall. I was in the top 3 point some percent, which was, I think, I think that's the
Respectable.
highest. Well, that's the only level I can measure as objectively as possible, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a pool, there's a worldwide pool of players, including professional players across the world, millions of them, and there's an objective ranking depending on my performance for a certain time in that pool of people. When it comes to sales or trading or music or anything like that, there's no real objective measure I can go by, right?
But do you feel that, having knowledge in these other areas will help you blend them into a useful,
For
deep,
sure. Well,
yeah.
trading. Like I started studying trading last year, and I started actually making real trades in April of 2019. And I think trading, and I think chess, for instance, it's all about pattern recognition, right? It's about looking deeper. Like when you're trading, you're looking at charts and price action, and there's indicators and all that. Now, there's a lot of information that you're receiving all at the same time, and it's in the same as chess. You got different threats, different strategies that you can employ, and all that, and you have to be able to look at patterns, calculations, and stuff like that. So both of them go well together, I think. Just like I've heard a lot of pretty good chess players said that, like, there's professional poker players that were chess players. They weren't like, they were probably in the top 5% of the world, but they said like chess really helped them understand poker in a very intuitive way, right? So there's definitely that, but like pattern recognition is something you can apply to so many things. It's the same for music. You can apply that to music. You can, like the whole world is built on patterns. Like the universe is a fractal, is a fractal universe. Nature, like leaves, forests.
Yeah, it follows the golden ratio.
Exactly.
Fibonacci spirals specifically.
Fibonacci, yeah.
What did I say? Fibonacci.
Fibonacci, I
I
know.
I stand by what I said. Fibonacci.
Yes, it's cool. And yeah, so be finding, and I think that's what Leonardo da Vinci did himself, is finding patterns in everything, and there's so many of them. And so the more you practice finding patterns in life, I think the better you can become at anything. Well, that sounded weird, but anyways.
Well, I just think that, like, especially if you want to learn a new area or a new domain, you have to come at it from the viewpoint of a child.
Yeah.
Learning something for the first time is going to take effort,
Yeah.
and deliberate practice.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't just take it lightly. You actually have to set aside the time, or integrate it into your life in a way that makes it easy. Because I've done this recently with just even my fitness, because I used to be very much into CrossFit, but
Mm-hmm.
now I don't have a regular box can subscribe to. I've had to, put up my own pull up bar. I have my own gymnastics rings.
Mm-hmm.
I have a yoga mat. I have all the basics. Um, and it just kind of integrates seamlessly into my life, right? I wake
Yeah.
up in the morning, I do my stretches, I do my basic pull-ups and push-ups, and
Yeah.
that's kind of how I start my day now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even like like you said, in the past I've tried to learn music,
Mm-hmm.
but for me it didn't come the most naturally, and it was hard to integrate into my life.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are learning something new, you have to try and get to a state of flow, a flow state, where it doesn't feel like work. It feels like just something you would naturally want to do.
Yeah.
Um,
I equate it. It has to be like whatever your this new thing you want to get into. Say you really like playing video games. Well, so a lot of times, even if you're lazy or you're hungry or whatever, you still have that impulse to play a video game, right? Well, you kind of want this new field or this new endeavor to become like that. It has to ignite enough, at least passion, and interest in you that it's
at
not.
least a spark, right?
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, yeah. So it's not. It does. It just basically it doesn't have. It has to not feel like a chore. It has to be
Yeah.
something that you really want to do. I mean, it sounds simplistic, but it's true. Um,
Well, and even to the exclusion of doing other things, right?
yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not going to go, drinking tonight because I'm working on this thing that I'm excited about, and I have to finish it tonight. So
Exactly. I don't want to
I'm
start.
gonna I'm gonna forego my social obligations to work on this thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna forego some phone conversation or just playing a video game because I want to get this song that I'm making, out, or I want to learn this software, or I want to learn this trading strategy, or I want to learn this chess opening, or whatever, right? And mention, like you said before, like you like to approach something as a true blue beginner. Um, uh, yeah, I think people should be aware of the Dunning Kruger effect. It's the effect that when someone doesn't know anything, they think they have low confidence in what they're doing. Uh, this is where like the theory of like a little knowledge can be dangerous to learning.
Yeah.
So what happens is a lot of people they learn a little bit about a certain field, and with that little knowledge now they have like this overconfidence of what their true capabilities are in that field. um, like a good example, I'll use a chess example, is um, I'd been playing chess socially on and off for years. But actually, when I started playing against some regular players, even not even that great of players, but that studied a few openings and knew some theory, I was getting crushed. Even though usually I was crushing most social players, but I mean, I wasn't playing online. I wasn't. I was just playing against very rudimentary players. But I thought I was fairly up there, right? That same guy compared to me now, we're light years apart, but I am so much more humble. Right now, I feel like I still have like I might have like another 20 years to even become like a top 2% player.
Well, yeah,
10,
because
20
you
years. Yeah.
because in terms of your practice hours, like where do you think you are in terms of hard practice hours of chess?
Well, I have a lot of hours of playing. Um,
But not in like a tournament style, right?
Well, what's cool about chess.com is they keep you fairly close in a certain range, close to your rating.
Okay.
So you keep on playing against players that are maybe slightly worse off at that given moment, or slightly better than you,
So
maybe by 100 pounds,
you're
100 points.
so you are stretching, right? You're stretching your abilities.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, it's very hard to like after there's like a plateau effect, right? It's hard to, and it talks about this in the Dunning Kruger effect too. There's like a point of knowledge. There's like a plateau, and to get that little extra bump takes a lot of effort, right? It might, so like for instance, if you start training, you start going to the gym and you start off with say 160 pounds bench pressing. Within a couple years, you can probably get to 250 pounds if you're very diligent. You go to the gym regularly, you keep on adding. But to go from 260 pounds to say 275 pounds, that's only a 25-pound increase. Will probably take you more, will most likely take you more discipline and more effort just to get that extra gain, right? And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm kind of like, I keep on making gains and all that. I lose them fairly quickly, and and but the gains I've been making is actually actively studying new openings, theory, and stuff like that. And um, that's where I start making the most of my gains. Before I just thought, oh, if I just keep on playing, I'll get better. And there comes to a point, I think, to become a master, it's not only doing the same thing, because a lot of things, if you do certain things and you learn something, especially when you accumulate a whole bunch of bad habits and whatever you're learning, um,
Mm-hmm.
just like you can apply this to anything, like an instrument, like guitar, like just the way you position your fingers on a guitar.
Wow.
If you don't do it correctly, even though you might manage certain chords and all that, and then you'll get used to it. To do more advanced stuff, you have to almost you have to relearn how to just do something basic as like your bass position with your fingers, right? And
Well,
a lot improving a lot of the times is unlearning bad habits.
and I think this is where having a mentor is helpful, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest,
Yep,
because they have gone through the same like they've gone through the same journey, but they're now masters, and they can help you avoid the pitfalls that are like going through an apprenticeship of an area that you could fall into, right?
for sure. And that's why, I mean, that's why we're blessed to live in this day and age. So we might not have hands-on mentors, and probably like having a hands-on mentor is the best option. But in any given field, you can learn so much just with what's available for free on the internet via videos and forums and stuff like that. And you got to do a lot of filtration, if you will. You got to cut off a lot of bad information, a lot of pruning, if you will. But once you get like, once you're able to zone in on the proper information and the people that provide that information, you can really get increase your mastery of any given field by leaps and bounds.
Speaking of pruning and dissecting information, what is your take on informational bias in the media, specifically
Well, you
the
wanted to talk about CBC, and
yeah.
I have seen some CBC reports, and yeah, they look like a lot of what's going on all across the world, like the BBC, CNN, and all those outlets who are very, very biased to the left.
Well, and here's the thing: is I've never really thought of the CBC that way, especially growing up in the '90s.
Mm-hmm.
It's really only become apparent to me in the last 5 to 7 years.
Yeah,
Like I know they're government funded, and we have a liberal government. Usually in Canada, it's a liberal leaning government.
yeah.
So that's where their funding
And just
comes
to be
from.
clear, it's not liberal like
No,
liberal like
not liberal in the traditional sense, meaning their actual official party name is the Liberal Party of Canada.
Yeah, for years it was more like um, a center right movement for Canada compared to. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's actually kind of hard to explain the Liberal Party because like this with Trudeau, it's very like classically what we say. Well, this new wave of liberalism, right? Very, um, what we see like.
Let's give an example because we've talked about this before. So in Canada, we have legalized marijuana, but at the same time, the police can come to your house and breathalyze you. So
Oh yeah,
there's a
that.
liberal leaning policy with Gestapo type tactics.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what sort of society political leaning do we have? It's kind of a gray area.
Hmm. Well, liberalism for me, like in the classical sense, like how they describe it in the U.S. classically, this would be like the liberalism, like comedian and talk show host Bill Maher has, right? Where like when it comes to birth control, pro-choice, basically, if you're not hurting anyone, um, let people do what they want to do. These conservative values, like for instance, having to get married, like conservatism back in those days, like in the early 2000s and before that, was like getting the church and all that into everyone's life and um, opposing, for instance, like things like gay marriage, right? And liberalism would have been, well, if they want to get married, like give them the right to get married,
Right.
which I'm okay with. Um, the liberalism that we have today now is it's almost like we're imposing, like the needs of the few are outweighing the needs of the or the rights of the many.
Right.
It's like if so I want to be called a certain pronoun, for instance, um, Bill's, I think it's Bill's C16 that Jordan Peterson was talking about. That's imposing speech onto people. So that's now the government, this liberal biased government and media and all that, are trying to impose a way of thinking to the mass of the population.
And if you don't step in line, it's considered a thought crime or a
Exa-
speech crime
exactly.
or a hate crime, which is
Exactly.
going toward a level of Orwellian proportions.
Exactly. Exactly. If you don't say the right thing, or if your opinion is not in conjunction with what these new liberals are saying, then you're either a racist, a misogynist, a transphobe, an Islamophobe, et cetera, et cetera. And they will come and try to fuck up your life, be it
While
getting
they
fired or ostracized by the internet community or even in your immediate real time community. Um, and that's the liberalism we have today, and the liberal party we have today is kind of ascribing to that view of things, and the liberal party before that wasn't like that.
Well, like Justin Trudeau is famous for saying it's not mankind,
Yeah,
it's people kind,
great example.
which is not even a real word in the dictionary.
Hmm.
It's completely fictitious, made up lip-tard bullshit.
Yeah, well, I mean, if someone wants to say people kind and all that,
I know,
it's fine. But
I
like
know, but
when you're like
he actively corrected somebody.
reacted some young student, right? It's like,
Yeah.
no, we don't say. Who the fuck are you to say we don't say?
Mm-hmm.
So the the liberalism of today is not the liberalism of before. I always consider myself a classical liberal. I mean, let people do what they want to do. Uh, Try not, it's good to have like certain safety nets for the less unfortunate, for the less fortunate people in our societies, and that's about it. Freedom to do or say what you want to do. This is not the liberalism we have today. And CBC, CNN, BBCs across the world are definitely are definitely promoting this newer idea. Trying,
New wave liberalism, I'm going to
yeah,
call it.
yes, exactly.
And I grew up with CBC throughout the 90s. I used to watch CBC Comedy Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I can't do it anymore. I can't even really listen to many CBC radio programs anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there is such a leftist agenda bias there now.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, it's kind of disheartening because it was a part of my childhood. I would consider it a part of my identity partially. And I've had to let that go because I've realized how biased that information is.
Well, that's why a lot of fans are getting mad at Hollywood, and this is probably why we won't see as much woke shit in Hollywood movies anymore in the next couple of years. Be it the Ghostbusters fiasco, the last trilogy of Star Wars, the Doctor Who series, which I loved when I was a kid, that got like preposterously woke, and it basically alienated all the original fan base from it. You've heard about these crazy discrepancies between Rotten Tomatoes, between the audience score and the critic score on different on
Different
different
platforms, like
yeah, well,
whether it
on
be
different movies or shows or comedy specials and all that. Like an example is Dave Chappelle's last comedy special on Netflix, which is one of his best by far, Sticks and Stones. Uh, got something like a 30% rating at one point by the critics, but got like a 98% rating from the audience score. Doctor Who, for instance, got like a 99% critics score and got something like it went down under, I think it was 20% by the audience score. So basically, the critics are woke, and if it goes against their agenda, they're gonna slam it, even though it's a good quality show or movie, whatnot. And the opposite is true. If something is woke, it's going to have a great review, even though like the
oh, look at
diehard
that,
fan
yeah,
base
yeah, that's right. The tomato meter says 35%, and the audience score is 99%
for Dave Chappelle, right?
for Dave Chappelle. Yeah,
Yeah, it varies, right? And Doctor Who's the last seasons of Doctor Who, when they decided to get like a woman. Doctor Who has always been a man, like for forever in the Doctor Who series, and now they say, and now they turned her into a woman. But it wasn't only the fact that they made Doctor Who into a woman. It was like, oh, now Doctor Who's so much better because she's a woman now, right? There's definitely there's that like little extra nuance that since it's a woman, this is even better now. Like I have nothing against, like if they would have done a spin-off like with a female Time Lord character, and instead of changing something pre-established and create something new with something that's already established, that's female. If it was good writing, good quality, I wouldn't have a problem at all. Like look at it, look at Ripley in Aliens, right? Or Sarah Connor in the Terminator, especially in the old ones. Kick ass woman. Never had a problem with that at all. Never had a problem with any good female character, be she a lead or supporting character at all. It's this artificial push and desecration of of cherished series and shows and movies that's that's getting a lot of pushback, and I think Hollywood will be terminating that stuff soon because it seems
doesn't make money.
exactly like Ghostbusters was one of the biggest financial flops there was when it comes to movies in 2016, and like these a lot of these woke shows and Doctor Who, Star Trek. I mean, even like I've always been a Star Trek fan for as long as I can remember. and I haven't watched the last Star Trek because I saw some clips, I saw some commentary on it, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to see my like a cherished TV show ruined for me. You
You're
know?
talking about Star Trek Discovery, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I like part of me wants to watch it, but I'm so tainted now by all this propaganda. And when I hear so much stuff about this propaganda and stuff, I don't want to. I don't even want to see it. No, I don't want to see it. There's other reasons too, but yeah, that's
Well,
what I
you're
like about the Mandalorian. You know, it doesn't seem to push all this
it's
political crap.
it's just good writing. It's
Exactly.
good. It's good storycraft, um, and it's well shot. It's well edited, and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, and there's kick-ass female characters in that. So
And there are kick-ass female characters in there, but
yeah,
it's not the main focus of the show.
exactly.
You know, um,
Exactly. So I think Hollywood is a business industry. I think they thought by putting this pushing this woke agenda, they were going to make money. They're seeing that it's not working at all. So I think we're going to start seeing less and less of that. And the population as a whole, especially if Trump does get reelected, I have no idea if he will or not, but we're probably going to start seeing it less and less in the media, especially now that in any case, especially the younger generation, everyone is getting their media online. Even me, and I'm going to be 40 in a couple of years. Uh, I barely watch the news. I barely watch any cable TV, man. I I
same.
get. I mean, first of all, even if you find a good TV show on TV, you can't watch it when you want, and there's a whole shitload of commercials that you can't even skip. I'm like, fuck that, man.
Oh yeah, man. The subscription model is where it's at.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's so many like good independent people that you can say, you can even argue that you're kind of like boxing yourself in an echo chamber. But I personally like to hear multiple points of views on a given subject. But I tend to start, I tend to prefer certain commentaries, and to my surprise, a lot of my sources of information, the news, if you will, is um, I wouldn't say conservative, but classic liberal, but which is considered right now. It's considered conservative almost today. But
Even though it's more centrist,
I call it reasonable liberal.
reasonable,
Yeah,
rational liberalism,
yeah,
liberal.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one.
Yeah.
Like, because Tim Ferriss talks about the information diet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you take in the streams of information and media that are the most beneficial for your growth as a human being and as a person, right? And
Yeah.
and not be, like you said before, dogmatic in your thinking. And this is a main characteristic of self-actualized people. Um, if you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, once you have a foundational base, um, to become self-actualized, you need to have a 10 components. Um, and they're in the categories of physiological safety, love, belonging, self-esteem. But once you pass that, you're into the
More creative. Yeah.
self-actualization is characterized by morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, and acceptance of facts.
Mm-hmm.
And we in our current society, there's not a focus on facts and
No.
the objective truth. It's about feelings and appeasing people's sense of, I don't know,
People are
I don't.
giving in to their inner bitches too much in this society.
That's right. Their inner bitches are taking over our media,
Yeah.
um, and it's time to just get back to the basics and work on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't. don't buy into the bullshit. So
Yeah, you know, definitely take some red pills when it comes to the media. I mean, it's been proven time and time again. Like no one trusts the media anymore.
not traditional media, no.
No, no. There's been way too much shit that's been exposed, lies and misrepresentations and all that, and exaggerations constantly for anyone with a bit of sense to trust the media.
Well, I mean, Facebook was a prime example of it. Still kind of is.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I don't even really care what goes on in the world that much.
No,
Most of the, just like you said, most of the stuff, like and like Tim Ferriss says, most of the stuff I consume is to better perfect my knowledge base in the fields I'm interested in. To satisfy my polymath tendencies, if you will. It's more for learning, right? And then yeah, there's sometimes like the way I like to be entertained is hear or read about people saying shit that I hate. Sometimes I think people we're so bored, and I think we're all guilty of this. No matter what camp you are, it's fun to. We love to hate. It's like it's the character in the movie you love to hate, right?
yeah.
And we're trying to find that in the real world, in this digitalized media and world we live in now. So and I think and I think psychologically these leftists, they don't want to admit that to themselves, that they just love to hate certain things. So they want, but that impulse is still there, but they're like unaware of it, and they just want to give in to that impulse, but they want to look good doing it. Yeah, because we live in like, this is a narcissistic culture we live in. Everyone wants to have attention and be say, "Oh, you're so good, you're so this, you're so that." Um,
Validation.
yeah, everyone wants this attention and validation. No one wants to look bad. Um, and people that can only rely, like, let's be real, like if we talk about like feminists, male and female feminists, they're definitely not getting by on their looks, right? So they try to use their brain, their ideas and all that to get by, and they want to look as pristine as possible, but as we know, most humans don't accept the shadow inside themselves. So they just give into their shadow by attacking all kinds of ridiculous bullshit, thinking that, look how holier than thou I am, uh, while still being able to spew that hate into the world.
And they have platforms to do it now, which is the difference of even 10, 15 years ago.
Exactly. I mean, it's so transparent when you hear these these male feminists like attacking almost all. Oh yeah, these men are so pathetic, and but I'm not like that. Yeah, oh, you go, woman power. Uh, you know, look how different I am. I'm on your side.
Beta orbiters.
Yeah, beta orbiters. I like that term.
Yeah.
Beta orbiters.
Beta bitches.
I wouldn't even say. I wouldn't even say. I remember on one of our podcasts we had like, or I don't know if it was one of our podcasts, previous ones, or the just a personal conversation. But I actually don't like the term beta as like a weak bitch.
It's not accurate.
Exactly. Because it's like, so many people think they're alphas. No, man, like alphas are pretty damn rare. Maybe like 1% of the population is alpha, and that actually changes depending on what social setting they are.
Well, it's contextual alphas, right?
Yeah. But even like what we're talking about here, like like
White knights.
these white knights and male feminists and stuff. I mean, that to me, I've heard like the term gamma and zeta and shit like that. Those are some weak ass individuals, right? Like
Well,
from
it has nothing to do with their sexual orientation or etc. It has more to do with their character.
exactly like a beta, like an alpha beta dynamic would be like the captain of the football team would be the alpha, and like the betas would be like the guy like propping the captain up, right? You wouldn't
Or
say like
Batman and Robin even,
yeah, exactly.
right? You always have to have a support team somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You can't all be alphas. It wouldn't work.
Exactly.
There's
You could
always going
almost
to
argue
be
that being a beta in that type of definition would be a more comfortable position than being an alpha. Like you'd have the benefits, most of the benefits of the alpha male, while not having all that responsibility, right?
right because the alphas are have to be the protectors and the guardians of their tribes and society at large.
Exactly. Like if you were going to like if we take like the CEO as an example. So the CEO is the alpha. The betas are like his close executives around him. And then you would have like the deltas, which would be like the low like entry workers and stuff like that. And then you'd have like the in that you'd have like gammas and zetas, which are like the losers in that lower tier of the company, right?
It takes different types, right, to
Mm-hmm.
make things work.
Exactly, exactly. So beta sounds like everyone thinks they're alpha when uh, like most people that claim that shit are lucky would be lucky to even be a beta, right? So
Depends on your definition, right? But
exactly.
that's kind of how the internet works. You kind of have to discern
Well, I mean,
through the static.
we can't even agree now that someone that's born with a vagina or a penis is a fucking male or female now.
Male or female. Yeah, we can't
I
even
mean,
come to that. Yeah, exactly.
we can't even agree on that shit anymore. So how can we agree about an abstract concept like the fucking alpha, beta, zeta, etc.?
Hmm.
Yeah. So I guess my resolution. I actually don't even really have a resolution. Uh,
I don't really think resolutions are that useful.
hmm
I've come to that conclusion a while ago. I
well,
mean,
I think they've been useful to me.
well, they oh, have they? Okay.
Yeah, but I think I'm just content by continuing my past resolutions at this point, continuing on my goals. And I guess my only resolution would be to keep improving on the different paths I'm already on, and try. I like that post you sent me not too long ago about uh, you know taking up one good habit, dropping one bad habit, and very simple. And I think I'm just going to keep on doing what I've been doing and perfecting that path.
The kiss method. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't try and change a whole bunch of things at once. Just pick one thing,
Yeah,
right?
drop something, stop doing something that's not too that's kind of detrimental to you, to your well-being and your life in general, and keep on, maybe pick up one little small habit that's easy to implement, but over time will bring good effects. If you don't do anything, you don't go to the gym or anything at all, just make it that you do fucking 20 push-ups a day. That's it. Something very easy you can do. And if you can't do 20, do 10. You know, small, insignificant habit that can have some great long term results if you keep doing it.
Yeah, man. Keep on that path to self actualization.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a resolution though.
Okay.
I've resolved to keep being awesome.
Yeah, of course.
You can't improve on perfection, John.
Exactly, exactly. Well, me, even if I had a resolution to stop being awesome, I wouldn't be able to.
No, it's an addiction. Being awesome
Exactly,
is an addiction, man.
exactly. Well, it's just a state of being. I mean, it's integral to who I am, you know?
Yeah, it's a hard path to being this awesome.
Exactly. It's lonely at the top, you
It's
know?
lonely, lonely at the top.
Yeah.
Is there any other housekeeping you want to go over before we sign off here?
I think we've covered pretty much everything. We do have a YouTube channel, the Doomer Bloomer podcast. We are gonna start in the near future, doing like snippets. So if you don't have time, everyone's busy. There's so much media out there. Not anyone can listen to a full podcast, right? So we'll be splicing our videos into like different categories. So we'll do subject by subject there. So if there's anything, one subject in particular you like, you can go check out our YouTube channel. And there's also I guess we'll do it also on the other media platforms, right? Spotify and
We can
iTunes.
do it. We can do it for sure on Instagram.
Yeah.
Spotify is a little trickier.
Okay.
But Instagram or Twitter, we can break it up into bite-sized
Cool.
nuggets.
Yeah. Awesome.
Chicken nuggies, as
Yeah.
Baby Yoda likes to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Your idol.
He is my god, man. He is my new god.
Yeah.
I just can't get enough of Baby Yoda. I'm addicted.
Mm-hmm. He's the epitome of awesomeness for you.
He is the epitome of awesomeness.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we also have a Patreon page. If you so feel inclined.
Yeah.
Check us out.
Show us the money. We're only doing this for the money, you know?
Yeah, we're gonna be like Tim Ferriss and start chilling me undies pretty soon.
Yeah. Show us the money.
God, more money than God, and he still wants to shill me undies.
Yeah.
Give it a rest, boys. Come on.
Yeah, and I didn't like. I've heard Bill Burr's version of shilling MeUndies, but I haven't heard Tim Ferriss. But I really think it's like funny. I'm sure it's like, oh, these MeUndies are like one of the best things I've ever worn.
It's like you wear underpants, right?
I gotta listen to that.
These are the best ones on the market.
Yeah,
I wear them down the street.
Exactly. So to our limited fan base right now, you better start giving us some money, or we're gonna start selling you MeUndies. It's a serious threat.
It's a serious threat.
Yeah, show us the money.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, or Blue Apron. Wow, man.
Blue Apron.
Yeah. This is a warning. If we don't start seeing money soon, we are going to practice. It'll be like fair warning. We'll be practicing our ads, and if that doesn't work, just like Trump with Iran, we'll show you. It will be shock and awe with MeUndies
with
ads.
our internet marketing skills.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, all jokes aside, we're grateful for every listener we have and viewer. Just like you mentioned the Instagram page and Twitter and all that, right?
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter at Doomer Bloomers podcast on both.
Perfect.
Those are the ones I'm most active on. I'm not the most active on Facebook.
Perfect. Yeah. Feel free to even let us know some suggestions of what you'd like us to talk about, and it'll be our pleasure to do that. Definitely, always a pleasure hearing from our new fans for this new podcast that we're doing.
All right.
So this is John Wynn
and Billete
signing out. Peace.
Cheers.